Hi Carroll County, Coach Matt back again to talk to you about pull-ups this week. Don't sign off, don't worry. What I'm going to do is go over your options that we will present to you as modifications for the pull-up. There's a lot of different things we can do to get those same muscle groups working for you without actually hanging from anything. So what I'd like to do is start from some of our earliest modifications and work our way up in complexity and see if we can't find something that fits for you. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you about a workout that a lot of us did on Monday and how you might be able to do your own version of it this week. So, pull up. When you think about that, all you think about a lot of times is hanging from a bar and struggling with everything you got to get your chin up over top of that bar. We can do a couple different ways. You can do it with your palms facing forward or palms back. When the palms are facing back toward your face, a lot of times that's called a chin up. More often than not though, when we're working out in here, you will probably be asked to do a pull-up maybe about once a week, something like that. I want to go over our options. What I have over here is something that you can do at home. So we'll start a lot of people off is with a ring row, or maybe you've seen a TRX strap where you pull yourself up to that ring or strap to your rib cage. What I'm going to do is actually use a sheet or a towel that you can do at home. I'm going to show you two different ways you can do this with a door that you trust and you feel is sturdy enough to withhold your weight or withstand your weight. Right now I have the sheet tucked in above the top hinge of this door. I'm going to show you the movement and then I'll tell you how we can make it either harder or easier as we go through it. All right? So my objective here is to keep my body as tight as possible. Almost thinking about that plank position, so my legs are squeezed, my rear end is squeezed, and my core is squeezed. And I'm trying to pull the bed sheet or my hands to my rib cage. So right now I'm pretty vertical as I go through this movement. In order to make it a little more challenging, what I'm going to do is walk my toes closer to the hinges, make my body a little bit more horizontal. That's going to add more body weight to the movement, make it a little more challenging. So I'm going to walk my feet in, lower myself in control, find a little bit more of a steeper angle. Again, I'm going to try and get my hands to my rib cage. So, the closer your feet are to the origin point of the straps, the more horizontal you are, the harder it's going to be. The more vertical you are, the less challenging it's going to be. So, if you don't feel comfortable getting it over the top hinge, what we're going to do is pull that bed sheet out, and we're going to go ahead and put it around your doorknob. So, what I'm going to do is the same thing on both sides, but I'm going to go ahead and take this bed sheet, take it over the top of the doorknob, and then wrap it around the bottom. So there's no knots or anything like that. We're just going for a pressure fit. Again, make sure you're using this on a door that you trust, maybe front or back door, something that has a little more robust meat to the door itself. So same exact concept. I'm going to go ahead and get a firm hold on the strap. I'm going to go ahead and lower myself down, pull myself back up. As you can see, I'm a lot more upright on this version, trying to make sure I have a safe alternative to that pull-up. If the sheet or towel method does not interest you, we can go to a bent over row. Looks a lot different from a pull-up, however, there's a lot of overlap from a musculature standpoint. Getting those muscles stronger is going to help correlate to doing a pull-up later on. So I'm going to use two 10-pound dumbbells. You are more welcome to use 2 water bottles, 2 soup cans, 2-gallon jugs, whatever it is. One thing in both hands, or maybe just one in a hand at a time. Either way though, I'm going to get myself in a nice bent over position. So core is tight, back is straight. I'm going to stop with my straight arm. My hands are about at knee level. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my eyes are set across the room a bit. And from this point, I'm going to lock my body in place, and I'm looking to pull my hands to those objects as close to my ribs as possible. Think about your forearm being straight up and down, perpendicular to the ground. I'm focusing on pulling those elbows straight up, keeping my body tight, going through those reps. When I'm done, I can put those dumbbells back on the floor. So we've got 2 different type of rows using the door and a bed sheet or a towel. We also have a bent over row using an object or 2 objects. From that point, if you have access to anything to hang from at home, right now I have a squat rack with a bar on it. You may have one of those portable temporary pull-up bars that you have in a doorway. maybe even something in your basement to hang from or under a deck. Either way though, we can play around with some modifications there, or even playground equipment in the backyard. After these two modifications, we might play around with strengthening your pull-up by doing some negatives. A negative is what is a controlled descent. So basically we're resisting gravity, trying to control our movement through space. So this, for a negative, we actually will start with our chin over top of the bars as high as we can, and then work on slow motion, lowering ourselves to the ground. I'll demonstrate real quick. I don't know if you can see, but my feet will be on the ground for this, and this is actually a great way to start things off, especially if you don't know your confidence level in this movement, okay? So I'm going to get on my tippy toes. My hands are going to be just outside of my shoulders, thumbs wrapped around the bar. I'm actively pulling down on the bar right now to make sure my chin stays over the bar, and I'm going to lower myself as slow as possible. If you want to challenge yourself, you can pull your toes up off the ground until your arms are straight, or as straight as you can. Once you've gone through that a couple times with your toes in the ground, maybe you'd like to challenge yourself with your toes up off the floor. So again, you're going to get your chin up above the bar, pull down that bar, get some tension, and lower yourself slowly in control. Bring it on down. If you're able to do that successfully, and you want to challenge it further, we'll add in a pause or multiple pauses. So what we'll do is start with chin above the bar, and then when the bar gets to about eye level, we'll try and hold it there. And then we're going to pause when your elbow is at 90 degrees, and then right before you lock out, we might pause again at the very bottom. So it should look something like this, and we'll give yourself a solid 1 count at each position. So get myself set at the top. My chin is over the bar. I'm going to go for 1 count at the eyes, 1 count with elbows at 90 degrees, and then just before I lock out, I'm going to give myself another hold, and then I'll relax at the bottom. So as you go through that, you feel like you're getting stronger, you can add multiple more seconds at each pause. So first time I did that was a 1 count. Might go for a 2 count, 3 count, 4 count, so on and so forth. Once you get to the point where you're at a 5 count, maybe it's time to start working your way up from the bottom, trying to get that chin back over the bar, okay? Nice little progression there to play around with. This week, Monday was Memorial Day, a day that a lot of us take time to remember those soldiers, service members that did not come back from overseas fighting for our country. There is a workout you may have heard people talking about on Memorial Day, called it MRF. It is a workout that we do to honor those that have fallen. The workout is a 1 mile run. When you come back in from the run, you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then you finish it off with another run. That is scalable for whatever ability you have. So what I'm proposing today is a modified version of that maybe you can play around with to honor those people that you may or may not know who have served and maybe not returned. So instead of a 1 mile run, what I'm going to ask you to do is elevate your heart rate for 4 minutes by either going for a jog, maybe a faster walk than you normally would. If you have an exercise bike, we're going to use that for 4 minutes. If you're going to do the walk, what I'm looking for is a brisker pace you normally would, something you definitely feel your heart rate elevated with, okay? After that 4 minute burst of cardio, when you come back to your workout area, you're going to have a way to do pull-ups. What I'd like you to do is 5 pull-ups or whatever variation you had, so whether it's the towel rows or the bent over row, you're going to do 5 of those. Then you're going to go and do 10 push-ups. So we've done some talks about this before. I have a chair here that I'm going to use for squats as well, but I'm also going to use it for push-ups. You can use it hands on here if you're looking for an elevated push-up, looking for that chest to get close to the chair. If you want, you can get it higher by using the backside. Either way, though, we're looking for 10 reps. And when you're doing your push-ups, you want your hands to be about mid-rib cage. And so whatever you're touching, or whatever you're using as your base, when you're at the bottom or close to the chair, it should be about mid-rib cage as well. We want to make sure we avoid what we call our goalpost set up for push-ups. So when I get set up here, my chair is hitting me about mid-rib cage and I'm pushing back through. I don't want it to be a situation where that chair is hitting me in the throat or face. So make sure that whatever object you are pushing against, you're about mid-rib cage on that, okay? And after that, we're gonna go for air squats. I recommend doing about 15. If that's more than you'd like to bite off, please reduce those reps to something you feel comfortable with. But again, what I'm gonna do is use the chair. You do not need to use the chair. This is for those of us that don't feel confident or you're just getting started with this exercise routine. We're gonna do a quick tap to the chair and stand it back up. We're being mindful of our knees staying in line with our toes, meaning that they're pointing the same direction. And then when you stand up, you're locking that hip out at the top every single time. Once you're done with that 10 minutes of the body weight movements, you're gonna go for another brisk walk, a jog, or a bike ride. 4 minutes, and then you're done, okay? The body weight movements, what I like you to do is work at a nice steady pace. This is your workout. Find something that challenges you. Remember, with the towel or bed sheet row, the more vertical you are, the less challenging. The more horizontal you are, the more challenging it's going to be. So feel free to adapt as your fatigue may set in. Make sure you treat this workout with some respect. And remember that those of us that weren't able to come back from overseas, you're going to do this in their memory and to pay your respects to them. Hope everybody's staying healthy out there. Hope you're enjoying the workouts. And hopefully we'll get to see each other out in the streets very, very soon. In the meantime, stay healthy, Carroll County. We'll see you next week.